Hello, everyone. I'm Sahana Kuchibotla, and I'm the founder of To Be Honest. And if you're looking for some technical, grammatical, mechanical help with your writing, you've come to the right place. This is a quick, video series on certain topics that you can, use and apply to your own writing. And we're going to be starting with overall, general mechanics. And this video is going to be on commas, semicolons, and colons. So we're going to be discussing these terms, commas, semicolons, and colons, in terms of punctuation. They can also be used in lists or in other part of the sentences, but we're going to be only discussing them in punctuation. So, commas. You use commas when linking two independent clauses with a conjunction. So for quick review, an independent clause has a subject, a verb, and expresses a complete thought. So, for example, I walked to the grocery store. I will be your subject, which is you, and your verb is walked, and it expresses a complete thought that you are going to the grocery. So, and examples of conjunctions that are used are for, and, nor, but, or, yet. So an easy, fun way to remember that is the term fanboys, and that just is the first letter of every single conjunction. So, when you're looking through your writing and you're like, oh, should I use a comma here? Just check to see if they're one of the fanboys, and then you know what to do. So, like I said, you use commas when linking two independent clauses, and let's look at an example of that. So our example is, the ground was soaked with the rain from the night before, but we still decided to light firecrackers in celebration of Diwali. So Diwali is the festival of lights in Hindu culture, and when you light firecrackers, often you do it in a more hot environment, so the rain doesn't put out the light, but in this case, they still lit it in celebration. And as we can see, the comma comes before the conjunction but, which is the B in our fanboys. And so this is the proper way to use a comma when linking two independent clauses. And now we're going to be talking about semicolons. So you use a semicolon when linking two independent clauses, but no linking words. And these linking words would be our fanboys. So you should also note that the independent clauses must be related to one another. They cannot be separate thoughts or ideas, like something about a tree versus something about apples. They have to be connected to each other. So for example, we have the sentence, finally, Chinese New Year is approaching, semicolon. I can't wait to see my cousins at our family reunion this year. So in the sentence, Chinese New Year is linked with the family reunion, which technically happens on festival days. And the semicolon is used after the first independent clause. Note the entire thought has been completed. So, yes, so make sure that when you're linking with the semicolon, it's two independent clauses. And now we're going to look at colons. Colons are the trickiest ones. You want to be really careful here. Colons are colons. So colons are used to introduce lists of several or more items or a main idea without a need for linking words. So there are two things a colon can do, is introduce lists or a main idea. And so the components of these lists are usually long sentence fragments, hence needing to be broken apart from the first sentence to avoid a run-on confusing sentence. And again, note the first part of the sentence must be an independent clause, but the second part can be a dependent clause because it can be a list. So, and again, as with semicolons, the ideas must be connected. So our example is, when in times of doubt, I remember my favorite Indian proverb, pull someone by the ears and their head will follow. So as we can see, the first clause, when in times of doubt, I remember my favorite Indian proverb, is an independent clause, but it leads up to the proverb, which is said in the second part of the sentence, and that's why I use a colon. So let's look at some common mistakes made. So for commas, again, only used to separate two independent clauses, not dependent clauses. And that's when you have a conjunction, and you must use a conjunction to separate independent clauses with a comma. When we're looking at other uses for commas, we will discuss what to do if it's an independent and a dependent, or a dependent and a dependent. And for semicolons, only used if there are no conjunctions separating the two independent clauses. It's two independent sentences that have, connected ideas, but no conjunctions. And finally, colons, You should not use them before a verb, conjunction, or number. You can only use it after a complete and independent clause, which is what I was talking about before here with the first part of the sentence being a complete thought. If you have any other questions, feel free to email questions for to be honest at gmail.com or fill out the contact form on our website. The slides will be on the website as well, and there are links to other helpful websites such as Purdue Owl or Grammar Girl that you could use if you need extra help. Thank you so much for watching, and yeah, bye.